Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name's Braden Timmons, and today we are wrapping up our Halloween Returns talk. That is right, guys. This is the fourth and final part of my Halloween Returns discussion, and this is the film that we almost got by Marcus Dunstan and Patrick something. I keep forgetting his last name for some reason, but either way, it's the co-writers of Saw 4, 5, and 6. They are also behind The Collector and The Collection, and those movies I actually do like, and I hope to review those one day. And this is it, guys. This is the finale that I've been waiting to talk about. And I'm really excited to be talking about it because I really do think that the ending of Halloween Returns could have been freaking awesome. I mean, this is Myers in my opinion, his most brutal form that we would have ever seen him. Just the description that is within this script, the description that these writers give for what they were going to do with Michael in the end is outstanding. And let me talk about what I don't like about it first, because there is a lot, there's so much that I like about this script, and I've talked so much about how much I like it over the course of these past 4 Halloween Returns videos, but instead of just doing one long, like 50-minute review or something like that, because that's pretty much how long it would have taken had I have gone in depth about it, I decided to split it up into 4 different parts. There are just certain scenes that I wanted to give a good amount of attention, and the ending is for sure one of those. So before I get into what I don't like, this is where we left off. So in part 3, we talked about how Myers killed the main protagonist, Sophia. Myers killed her mom, and Sophia is also the daughter of this Dr. Loomis-esque type character named Dr. Paul Rogers. And Rogers and Sheriff Gary Hunt show up at the Rogers residence, and they find his wife Emma completely cut up, completely butchered, and she's still alive, and Rogers is able to be there until her last breath. And Gary Hunt is reflecting on this because in the very beginning of Halloween Returns, we see that Myers, before he gets incarcerated for 10 years and goes on death row, he ends up killing Sheriff Hunt's wife. So this is kind of a moment where Hunt can feel sympathy for Rogers because he knows exactly how this feels to lose his wife. Okay, so now that we are caught up with what we talked about in part 3 of the Halloween Returns script, this is what I don't like. There are certain segments in Halloween Returns where it seems like Michael is almost running, and I don't like that. And that specifically shows literally right off the bat. Like the scene after Dr. Rogers and Sheriff Hunt find Emma, we're now out on the street following Sophia again, and we're seeing that Myers is essentially tracing her. He is almost catching up to her at this point, which is fine. Myers does what he does. He'll catch up to somebody going at a normal pace, but here I feel like that Myers literally traces her steps, and then she gets in her friend Bree's car at the end of the street, and Myers, he starts approaching her. He starts walking, and you could hear the muffled breaths and stuff like that against his mask, and he's walking, and it just gets faster and faster, almost to where he's basically running towards this car. And Sophia and her friends are sitting in the car. They're smoking a little bit. They're talking about what they're going to be doing with the guys on Halloween night and everything like that. Some good stuff. Just dialogue that teenage girls would be talking about. So I feel like that they really nailed the dialogue with the girls and the characters and stuff like that. But when Myers is running, when it almost feels like he's running towards the car, even power walking to a certain degree, like in Rob Zombie's Halloween, Myers definitely power walked, which was different. It was odd. Here, though, I feel like that they would have almost had him like at a light jog, and I really don't like that. So either way, Myers literally gets right up to this car. He's about to reach out and grab Sophia, and the car takes off. They have no idea that he's there. And we get one of those classic shots, or what I feel like would have been one of those classic shots like from Halloween 4, with Myers just standing in the middle of the road as the car is taking off. And there's some really cool Easter eggs to a lot of the other Halloween films in the Halloween Returns script, very much like in Halloween 2018. In Halloween 2018, they have a lot of really awesome Easter eggs with the Halloween franchise that I really appreciate. So Myers has to catch Sophia. So what does? He goes and gets in Mr. Grimbridge's truck, and if you don't know who Mr. Grimbridge is, earlier in the script, it was discovered that he was the owner of Silver Shamrock Novelties in the town of Russellville, because that's where Halloween Returns takes place. It does not take place in Haddonfield, which I could see angering a lot of people, but whatever, I'm fine with it. As long as it's got the Halloween atmosphere and it's got the Halloween vibe and Michael Myers is cool and he's badass, that's all I care about. And he definitely is at the ending of this movie. And we're getting there, guys. I promise you. There are just segments where Myers is absolutely freaking brutal. He is more stealthy, I feel like, than he would have ever been in the Halloween franchise. Like, just to give you an example of what I'm going to be talking about, there's a scene at the end of this movie where a guy is trying to help this girl, and Myers steps on this guy's broken leg and continues to try and kill the girl. I'm not going to tell you who yet, but guys, that's the level of insanity that I'm talking Myers is on. Like, he'll hurt this kid enough, and then he'll step on the kid's broken leg and then pick up someone else and almost be killing two of them at the same time. It's like, hold on, I'm going to get to you. I'm going to finish her off first, and then I'm going to get to you. Don't worry. But that's really awesome stuff. So that's just kind of what's coming. So ultimately, Sophia and her friends, they pull up to Noah's house. The guys, they all get in their truck. Sophia and her friends are just laughing and stuff like that. They take off. Myers is in his truck watching them, and then he starts to follow them, and he stopped because kids throw eggs at Grimbridge's truck. And then this is one of the best scenes in the movie. Something that Michael Myers would do. Because this is pretty much a dark sense of humor. They throw eggs at it. They think it's Mr. Grimbridge. It's not. And the kids are like, haha, suck it, Grimbridge, and stuff like that. They're just being, kids. And one of them goes, hey, I don't think that's Grimbridge. And the van slowly starts to pull up. Now, it's dark inside, like you can't see inside or anything like that, and the window's open, and you could just make out the silhouette of Michael looking down at these two kids. And, like, the kid goes, who is that? And all of a sudden, this is so awesome. Michael takes Grimbridge's head, and his severed head, and he tosses it out the window, and it rolls towards these two kids, and they take off running just into the darkness. And then it's just a shot of Michael and him looking forward and just the van accelerating again. That is awesome stuff. That is a good sense of Halloween night humor when it comes to Michael Myers. Because we know that Michael Myers can get crafty. We know that, in the original Halloween, we saw that he took the time to display Annie's body for when Laurie walked into the room at the Wallaces, and she found Annie's body, and she saw Judith Myers' tombstone, and then she found Bob and Linda. So Myers does stuff like this, and I just feel like that wouldn't necessarily be completely out of character. I actually think that builds on the character a little bit more. So after Myers pulls this super awesome and elaborate stunt on these two young boys, or however many boys there were, Michael continues his path to Sophia, who is going to an abandoned farm with her friends for Halloween night. And that's where our story really starts to pick up, because this is all leading into the finale. Myers is following them to their final location, and then we also have to catch up with Gary Hunt and Paul Rogers, who are now trying to figure out where their son and daughter are, so that way they can go and save them, or at least try to save them. So yeah, guys, the ending of Halloween Returns would have been absolutely epic. I mean, it's pretty much just this group, so there's like 6 of them, and Michael Myers at this farmhouse. So this isn't necessarily a Halloween party, which honestly, during my first read of the script, I actually thought it was a Halloween party, but it's not. It's literally just like the 6 of them out at this farm, and Myers is there, which makes it much easier. It makes him easier to stalk them without anybody else being around and distracting them. So I am really, really happy and satisfied with the outcome of what this ending would have been. So you guys remember me talking about Liam, right? Liam is Noah's little brother. Noah is the main male protagonist, and he is also Gary Hunt's son. So Gary Hunt and Paul Rogers go back to Hunt's house. They literally bust in. Liam is watching monster movies. He's probably up later than he should. You can tell that there is just a genuine shock in his eyes when his dad and Rogers busts in, and he goes, "Where'd your brother go?" And Liam goes, "Uh-oh," and Gary Hunt goes, "What do you mean, uh-oh?" He goes, "I'm not supposed to tell you." And he goes, "Do I look like I'm in a gaming mood?" Pretty much like what Thor would have said when he encountered Loki in the Avengers. He's like, "Do I look to be in a gaming mood?" And Rogers just goes, he's not. So Liam obviously tells them where they went, and then we cut back and Myers is now out of the car and he is now stalking all of these individuals. Now, I'm not going to go through this entire ending, but I will talk about some of the kills that I do really enjoy. Some of the kills include Michael hanging one of Sophia's friends and turning her into a freaking scarecrow. That's right, guys. The character named Ashley in this script gets turned into a freaking scarecrow in this finale. I mean, Myers literally puts the straw through her eyes and through her mouth and turns her into a literal scarecrow. It's freaking... I could just see that happening and being blown away in the theater. And then shortly after, a guy named Fogg gets lights wrapped around him and he gets his throat slit and he's all bloodied up and stuff like that. That's nothing to write home about. That's definitely a thing that we've seen Myers do a couple of times, actually, specifically in Halloween 6. You know, it's raining red, and then the guy is like in the tree, the radio host is in the tree and he's got the lights and stuff like that wrapped around him. So we've seen something like that before. But when it comes down to the scarecrow, that's a completely creative kill. Another thing that I really like about this ending is that it involves Sophia's other friend Bree. She's in the corn stalks because she wants to take a selfie with one of these Halloween props, which may sound kind of stupid, but ultimately when she's taking selfies, there's a segment where Myers is in each of the flashes, and every flash he gets closer and closer, which is just awesome stuff. And then of course when she looks and she's looking at the pictures, she sees Myers' mask in the corn maze, which is terrifying. I mean, that is a completely big fear of anybody, like late at night, like even when you're taking Snapchats, like in your room, you hope that you don't see somebody behind you. So yeah, guys, I can see that genuinely being frightening, especially for a younger audience, because if somebody was 17 years old seeing this for the first time in modern day and they have a phone that they can Snapchat on, I could see that actually kind of freaking them out. That's what the original Halloween did so well, is it was the paranoia of if you're walking down a dark road at night, Michael Myers is that guy that's watching you. It's that childhood fear. That is a big fear. That's a really good way of incorporating modern technology into making it a fear of if you're taking a selfie and all of a sudden someone's behind you, Michael Myers could be that guy. So after Michael Myers wipes out essentially the first half of that group, now he has Sophia, Noah, and then their friend Bear. Bear is in the house, so he is officially after Sophia and Noah. Noah walks into the corn maze. He's trying to find, like, what the heck's going on. Sophia sees Michael go into the house, and she sees her friend Bear on the second floor. Myers looks out. He looks at Sophia, who is calling Bear, and Myers is good. This is what I mean by Myers is really good in this script. Bear is listening to his music. He's got both of his headphones in, and he answers the phone when Sophia calls, and she's like, Bear, he's in the house. He's in the house. You gotta get out of here. And he's like, wait, what? Like, he's freaking out. And then he sees Michael, or he thinks he sees Michael in the hallway, but it's not actually Michael. See, this is what I mean, where Michael's actually really crafty in this movie. He thinks that he can sneak around him because I guess the bathroom leads to another hallway to where he can get downstairs and potentially sneak around him, but that's not the case. What is the case is that Myers actually took off his mask, put it on a broomstick to make it look like he was hiding in the closet, and then boom, came out behind Bear, who then went tumbling down the stairs, breaking his neck. And then from the top of the stairs, Myers grabbed his mask again and re-put on his mask. I thought that was awesome stuff. Me personally, I think that is very clever. It's very creative. It shows that Michael is very smart and intelligent with how he goes about stalking his victims. Yeah, guys, this ending is really drawn out. I mean, it's pretty much an entire, I'd say 25 minutes of just pure Michael Myers, just wreaking havoc on these teenagers. I mean, you've already got half of them dead. Actually, now you would have had over half of them dead, especially because he just killed Bear. Noah and Sophia are the only two remaining until actually we can go back on that half of them being dead because Bree is actually still alive. Bree does make it out after she's the one that was taking the selfies and stuff like that. She did get stabbed, but she ends up making it out perfectly a-okay. Very much like Halloween 2018, this movie does end with a fire in the house, and it actually ends ends with him battling so many different people. There are so many people that get to crack at Michael Myers in this ending, and I actually think that this is effective because it's all of the characters that really should at least get a chance to take one crack at Myers. You get Noah, who actually whacks Michael over the head with a board, and then the second time he tries to whack him, Myers grabs it, stabs him, and Noah goes down for a brief period of time. You have Sophia, who is just mostly running away from Michael for a little bit until the very end. Sophia ends up going into a barn house with Bree, and then there is a very intense sequence in which she's trying to start the car, but Myers busts through, literally turns off the car engine, and then takes the keys out and throws it on the ground. And Sophia gets out, and she hides under a car. And when she's hiding under a car, Michael decides to bust all of the tires and shrink the car down. It's about to crush Sophia, but she's able to find a wrench and she's able to hold it up just barely. And then she sees the knife on the ground. She's reaching out to grab the knife, and Myers steps on her freaking hand. Myers steps on her hand, she lets it go, he bends down and picks the knife and tries to swipe at her, and this gets her and Bree out of this place. And that's just once again more of Sophia running away, so she doesn't necessarily get to take a crack at him. I mean, it seems like there's going to be a little bit of a showdown, but ultimately she runs back to the house, and that is where Paul Rogers and Gary Hunt end up meeting up with them, because Bree is running out of the barn, especially after Sophia takes off the opposite way. Bree comes up to Hunt and he says, get in the car, and she goes, no, don't leave me. And Hunt has probably one of the most badass lines in the entire movie. He goes, darling, he ain't coming out of there alive, I promise you that. So Hunt and Rogers make their way up to the house. Rogers is armed with the most basic gun. So Hunt and Rogers end up in a house in which Sophia and Noah are, and Rogers needs to make sure that they're both okay. Gary Hunt comes into the same house and sees a reflection of Michael on a mirror, and he shoots him. And he goes around the entire floor trying to find out where Michael is, thinks he sees him and shoots a reflection, and boom, Myers comes out, holds Hunt against the wall, and Hunt actually knocks down one of the candles, and that lights the entire place on fire, and they have a little bit of a showdown. So Hunt actually punches him a couple times, and then Michael grabs him, cracks his hand, throws him against the wall, and Hunt goes, I'll be waiting for you, you bastard. In hell, I'll be waiting. And before that, then Michael takes his knife and stabs it right through Hunt's chest, killing Hunt. That's a pretty good way to go out if you ask me. I mean, Hunt was pretty much along for the ride the entire movie, and the way that he went out, I think, would have been satisfactory. So this infuriates Noah. Not only has Michael Myers now killed Noah's mother, but he just killed his father. Noah comes down the stairs, and he even told Rogers and Sophia, I have to get my dad. He didn't even know that he was there until Rogers said, yes, he's here, he's downstairs. Noah comes down to the bottom of the steps, sees his dad hanging on the wall. He goes, you motherfucker, and dives at Michael and takes Michael down a flight of steps leading into the basement. Noah then breaks his leg, and Myers gets up and he steps on Noah's leg, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Noah then screams in pain. Sophia comes downstairs with Rogers' gun, and she grabs that after Rogers tells her that he killed her mother, that Michael Myers killed her mother, and she said, I've had enough of this. Grabs his gun, goes downstairs, holds it up at Michael. Michael grabs Noah, throws him at Sophia, and then walks over, grabs Sophia, and before Noah can move again, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, Michael steps on Noah's leg and goes, I'll be with you in a minute. Holds Sophia against the wall, and then Dr. Rogers comes in and finally gives his epic speech at the end. He goes, Michael, very Dr. Loomisy, goes, Michael, I'm the one you want. I'm the one you should want to kill. I'm the one who drugged you. I'm the one who locked you up. I'm the one who kept you in the correctional center. Pretty much something very much like Dr. Loomis would do in order to be the hero in the end. Michael throws Sophia down, and then he goes upstairs where him and Rogers have a little bit of a tussle. And then Rogers says, you're not going to get my Sophia. You're not going to get her. And then the police come in. The police bust into the house. Sophia runs out to get the police, but who she sees in the house isn't who she thinks. She sees Myers walking out from the side of the house, but she sees somebody in the house wearing the mask, and the police start open firing on this person because he's in the Michael Myers mask and has a piece of broken glass in his hand like he's getting ready to kill somebody. And Michael Myers made it seem like it was Dr. Rogers. He put the mask on Rogers. He gave him the piece of glass that he was holding at the end, and Myers walked freely out of that house as it engulfed in flames as the cops shoot at Dr. Rogers. Now, I will say that Rogers ends up making it out, but he has, I think, one of the best lines in the entire movie, and he looks at Sophia and says, he doesn't just want to kill you. He wants to kill everyone. And Sophia then, as she's hugging her dad, she looks over into the woods and she sees a shape. She sees him there and she turns away to, try and get somebody to look towards it. And then she looks back and he's gone. And then the movie just kind of ends, guys, or the script just kind of starts fading out and everything like that. And holy shit, Halloween Returns, I will say it, I think could have been a very satisfactory Halloween film. I think that it would have probably been my second favorite right next to the original because I love it so much. I love this script. I think that it could have been a damn effective Halloween movie. And after reading the entire script, guys, I think that there's only one thing left, and I'm going to rate this script an A. So guys, there's also a post-credit scene. There would have been a post-credit scene in this movie, and it's with Rogers in the hospital and he's talking to someone, and it's revealed to be Dr. Loomis. And I think Gary Oldman was going to play Dr. Loomis because he wakes up and he's talking about his Michael Myers experience, and you see the trench coat and everything like that, and he goes, speak of Michael Myers as if he is a man. And he's like, wait, what? Or something like that. And like, he's like loopy and everything. And then Gary Oldman would turn around and reveal himself as Dr. Loomis and say that he is purely and simply evil, and it would cut to the credits. So really awesome stuff, guys. I do think that this, again, would have been a great Halloween movie. Love this script. And with that being said, post your guys' comments down below. Let me know, what do you guys think of the Halloween Returns script, guys? We're done. We are done with the Halloween Returns script review. No more Halloween Returns talk unless I feel necessary to talk about it in some other videos coming up, but this is pretty much the end of that series, and I'm trying to look forward now to what I'm going to discuss next week. So whatever your guys' thoughts are, be sure to leave them in the comment section. I'd absolutely love to read them, and as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join me on my journey to 5,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys in my next video.